behavioral economics also has, a variety of other theories, including choice paradox, for example, where, at least, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding is that where individuals are actually given greater choice options, let's say 30 options of choice, they're actually less likely to make a decision to actually commit whatever that decision is if there is larger options compared to, let's say, if there were 6 options. I think this was shown in the study done by Iyengar and Lepper, which looked at a variety of things, but amongst things was jam consumption, but also essay writing at universities, and basically came to that conclusion that actually reduced options would actually encourage people to make those decisions sort of more optimally, which is kind of counterintuitive to what we would consider in a standard economic model. That would perhaps indicate that more is better than less. You would rather have more resources or money or whatever it is than less. So it kind of follows that if you have more choice, you're more likely to find an option that best suits your needs, and therefore you're more likely to purchase. But obviously, this research has sort of contradicted that in some aspects. And there's, please tell me if I'm wrong with regards to that, but I think it's the theories are that individuals have potentially a limited amount of bandwidth that they're willing to expend on any sort of task. Your work in your career you might be willing to expend a lot more work, but buying jam at the supermarket, for example, you're not really willing to expend that much effort on. And if you have to choose between 24 options and between 6 options, that's a lot more options that you have to mentally use that energy to actually make that decision. So it just reduces the overload potentially on your decision-making process, which, like I say, isn't necessarily captured in a standard economic model that we would use.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I think one limitation of standard economic models is this assumption that people have infinite cognitive resources to compute all the pros and cons of all the available actions. So sure. In this manner, if you have more options, more available options, you should be more likely to find an option that is aligned to your desires. But we know that in reality, people don't have infinite cognitive resources. So when you have too many options, you can just get paralyzed, I think, and be unable to compute the utility of all the available actions. And there is also something more. And I know a little bit the work of Barry Schwartz on the paradox of choice. He thinks that there is also a psychological component that is I think it's somehow beyond the cognitive limitation, the bounded rationality. It's the fact that when you have a number of available options increases also your expectation. So somehow you expect to get more because you think that if there are so many options, then there should be an option that is really perfect for me. So your expectation increases. And so there is a double effect. On one side, expectations increase. On the other side, the bounded rationality does not allow us to compute all the payoff of all the available actions. So the delta, the difference between an expectation and a reality tend to increase, and this makes us unhappy because basically, at least following Barry Schwartz, happiness is nothing else than the difference between expectation and reality. And if this difference is negative, so expectations are beyond are above reality, then we are unhappy.